Coming to you from a studio somewhere out there. It's Enough Already Radio with Fingers Malloy and Tracy L. Connors.
And here we are once again. It's Enough Already, the explicit version. I'm Fingers Malloy. She's Tracy L. Connors. Our schedule got screwed up this week. This usually comes out on Friday. But I, Tracy, had to head up to Michigan because my dad had a health scare.
And everything okay?
Everything's fine. He went into the ER Wednesday and, he had chest pains. They did the whole battery of tests, anything from an EKG. They did tons of blood work, did a heart echo, a stress test, which freaked me out a little bit because I've actually had a stress test done before. Mm-hmm. And they put you on a treadmill when you're younger.
Oh.
But obviously when you're 79 years old, it's not wise to put someone of that age on a treadmill on an 8 incline going 6 miles an hour.
Right. So
they do it with pharmaceuticals, Tracy. They raise your they raise your heart rate.
They give you a little speed.
Yeah.
A little adrenaline shot.
Yeah, which kind of freaks me out too.
Yeah.
Because I'm supposed to just trust that whatever drug they're pumping into my dad won't make his heart pop like a zit. But apparently they know what they're doing. I guess. Otherwise, they wouldn't be working in a hospital, right?
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah, I don't know. But that went well.
Good.
The only thing that's kind of freaky about that, though, is they do this heart echo and the stress test. And the cardiologist came in right before they let my dad out of the hospital. And he said, well, we're fairly certain that everything's okay, but there's a 15% chance that we missed something. Because apparently the way they do it is they do a before scan and an after scan.
Okay.
And if all of your outer arteries on your heart are equally clogged, you won't notice a difference.
Okay.
So he's like, there's a 15% chance that your heart could pop like a zit. Well, you don't know. We'll talk to you again in a month if you're alive.
Great. It's reassuring. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah, so that's a little freaky. But he's fine. I can tell you one entertaining story, though. At noon, they said, okay, we're gonna discharge you. And so he's getting all excited. He doesn't want to be there. And so we sit and we wait and we wait and we wait and we wait. And he hadn't had anything to eat because he had the tests in the morning and he had to fast. Mm-hmm. So finally at 4:00, they let us out. And he's starving. So he says to me, oh, well, let's go to my favorite bar. I'm like, Dad, you can't drink. You were just discharged from the hospital because of a spike in your blood pressure. Oh, I won't drink. Okay. So we're almost to the bar, and he said, I'll just have one. So we get there. Waitress comes over. What would you fellas like to have? He said, give me a Jack and Diet Coke. And I'm sitting there in my chair, and part of me is horrified, and part of me is thinking this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. So he's fine.
Good.
And it screwed up our schedule this week, like I said, so we had to run a repeat over at Wham 1600 AM in Ann Arbor, and this show, the explicit version of Enough Already, normally comes out on Friday, but you're hearing it now because I had no way of being able to do any kind of broadcasting in Michigan. So how are you?
Are you asking me or the audience?
I'm asking you.
Oh, okay. I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have a good weekend?
Sure.
We're just going with that?
Tons of fun. Yeah.
Any drinking?
No.
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 I'm pretty hungover right now.
Oh, really? What'd you get up to?
Well, Saturday night, our good friend Steven Cruiser was in Indianapolis, and he was appearing at Crackers Comedy Club in downtown Indianapolis. So I went to see Steven. It's the first time I've seen him on stage, and I got to tell you, he killed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Good crowd there, probably about 120, I'm guessing, 130 people. And he was great, and so was the liquor.
Now, was it political, his comedy?
No.
Interesting. Because I think most people that would know him via Twitter or whatever would expect some political stuff thrown in. Nothing, huh?
Not really. Maybe about... he did get into making fun of social justice warriors, and he set up on stage that he leans conservative. Mm-hmm. Because
how did that go over?
He grew up in Barry Goldwater's Arizona. So It went over very well. I mean, it was pretty funny. I was in the back of the room, and he was getting a great response, and then he made one joke about Democrats, and I watched this millennial went from she was laughing throughout the show, and all of a sudden she was stone-faced the rest of the night. So the last 15 minutes, he's not funny anymore.
It ruined everything for her?
Aw, can't believe I paid $18.50 for this.
It's so bizarre. Who would show up to a Cruiser show not knowing who he is? Or is it just these are people that go to see comedy shows every weekend and they don't care?
Yeah, they don't care. It's a comedy club. Let's go to the comedy club. See who's there. You know.
Is there much of a comedy scene in Indianapolis?
Well, we've got 3 comedy clubs. So it's got to be
that's a scene.
Halfway decent comedy.
I always love the original names, like Crackers.
Yes.
Just makes me think, is there a porch with rocking chairs out front? And do they serve breakfast 24 hours a day? And that little peg game on the table?
Yeah. Well, there are 2 Crackers comedy clubs in Indianapolis.
Oh?
Yeah, there's one in the college area.
Uh-huh.
The artsy college area of Indianapolis. And then there's one downtown. And then there's one on the north end called Morty's Comedy Joint.
Okay.
I've never wandered into Morty's Comedy Joint. I'm sure it's a fantastic establishment filled with bad jokes and cheap booze. But I've never been there. I'm not a big comedy club guy. I used to do stand-up many moons ago. I played the big rooms, Tracy, like the Saginaw Holiday Inn.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Delta College in mid-Michigan.
The Elks Lodge?
Yes.
Do you guys have stuff like the Italian American Club or the Polish American Club kind of things?
Up in Michigan, they do. I've never really noticed that here in central Indiana. But that's
sure
where I would start my comedy career back up if I ever decided to get back on stage.
Yeah, VFW lodges.
Yes. What's the deal with old people?
Why do you guys like bingo so much?
Put that in one of your skits. So, no, I don't normally make it into the comedy clubs anymore. So, in fact, it's funny. I had no idea that the place that we were going to last night had moved 2 years ago. So, I got dinner with a friend of mine, and we went across the street to grab a drink before we were going to walk next door to the comedy club. And then we realized as we were paying our tab at the bar that the comedy club moved a half a mile down the road. So like,
did you walk or?
No, grabbed an Uber.
Of course. You can't walk a half a mile. That would be ridiculous.
Well, we had to be there in 5 minutes, and it was 90 degrees outside. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
I passed on walking the half mile in 5 minutes in 90-degree heat. Buzzed up.
Good call.
Yeah. And so we went to the comedy club, and then after the comedy club, we went to a cigar martini bar, which was a mistake. I mean, I love the place, but I'm just getting to the point in my life where I can't smoke a cigar anymore because I feel like hot garbage the next day.
Why? Do you inhale it?
No, but this thing, I don't know what it was. I was with Tony Katz, and Tony recommended this cigar, and it was damn near a foot long.
Oh.
So it took me like an hour and 15 minutes to smoke it. And you go home, you brush your teeth, you boil your mouth. It doesn't matter. You still got cigar taste in your mouth, and so it was a mistake. But the booze was great. I was drinking Knob Creek Manhattans. And I had about two too many Knob Creek Manhattans. So I'm feeling fantastic today. But Tracy, because of the situation with my dad and coming right home and going to the comedy club, I've been completely unplugged. I have no idea what's going on in the world. I hear Sean Spicer quit.
Yes.
Now, did he really quit, or was he asked to quit?
No, he resigned.
He wasn't forced out.
No. No, they were actually going to, from my understanding of it, and this is based off of an article I read in Politico, which is titled "Inside the Last 24 Hours That Broke Sean Spicer." Oh my God. And Politico needs to take a note from Axios, which is my new favorite site, because they keep most of their stories under 300 words.
Yes.
Because really, that's all you need to know. I don't need color commentary on everything. I don't need to know what people were wearing, those kind of things, like everybody that was in the room. I just need to know exactly what happened and boil it down.
Right.
So Politico, of course, can't write anything shorter than about 1,000 words.
That's why I never go to Politico.
Right. So I actually think that I came to this story from an Axios, a little mini write-up, and I was like, all right, let's get some more of this information. But so I love this. Sean Spicer came to the White House on Thursday completely unaware that President Donald Trump was planning to meet with Anthony Scaramucci, a longtime Wall Street friend, and offer him the job of communications director. Other top aides, including Reince Priebus and Steve Bannon, also had no clue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yes.
So according to this, Reince is being kept in the dark, and so is Bannon?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm going to continue this Politico piece. But in Trump's White House, where rumors of staff shakeups loomed for months, it all happened quickly. By Friday morning, over the strenuous objections of senior aides, Trump had a new communications director. And Spicer had made a spontaneous decision to resign, offended by the whole turn of events. He'd been blindsided by Trump before, but he took particular umbrage at this one.
It's like Days of Our Lives.
It is. Ready? The wham-bam events of the past 24 hours were exceptional, even by Trump standards. The dismissal of his top lawyer and the lawyer's spokesman, West Wing blow-ups between the president and his top aides, a press secretary fending off rumors about his possible demise without knowing the entire truth. All while new reports landed about Trump going on the attack against the special counsel investigating his White House. Doom, doom, doom. So it's just amazing. But I believe it was in this story that they said Trump had wanted Spicer to stay on and be a part of the communications team. And Spacey thought about it for a little while and came in Friday morning and said, "Now I'm out." But he's staying on until the middle of August.
What's he going to do? I mean, he's not going to go in the White House briefing room anymore, is he?
I don't think so. Scaramucci's already announced that Sarah Huckabee Sanders will be taking the podium.
Does she know what she's doing?
Yes. I've watched both of them give briefings, and I think she's way better than he is.
Really?
Yes.
Because I've heard mixed reviews about her, but it's usually from people that can't stand anything that comes out of the Trump White House to begin with. So I always take it with a grain of salt. I haven't seen her do a briefing. So
Spicer always looked frightened up there and flustered. And she just kind of has this cool, calm, I'm taking no shit from any of you attitude, which is more in the Trumpian style, as is Scaramucci himself. And he's been all over the shows, the political shows, just slaying. And apparently Trump had seen him on TV standing up for him and his administration and was like, get me that guy. I mean, he's been in the orbit anyway, but he is way better than Spicer has been. communicating the message. So you're going to get
Isn't he a
another
Democrat,
talking
though?
New Yorker. Scaramucci?
Oh. Not that it matters anymore. Does anything matter anymore?
No, none of this matters.
So,
I just think you're going to see more pushback, and it's going to be a little bit spicier than Spicer was.
well, that's the thing that I find highly amusing is, the media, the idea that Trump would be pushing back against a special prosecutor. I'm old enough to remember how the White House treated Ken Starr back in the Clinton days.
They forget all these things conveniently.
Right.
And it is possible that some of the younger members of the press don't remember it and never bothered to look into the Clinton years.
They own Google, though, right?
Yes.
Don't they? I think
Yes.
most people own Google at this point. They own a Google.
But I don't know if you did a Google search and said, did Clinton do the same things that Trump did, what you would get in return.
Right, that's true.
Or was there a special prosecutor for Clinton? They might not even know that. And how was he treated? No one gives a damn. And hypocrisy is not going to change anybody's mind. But we can talk about it all day long. I mean, the Chinese funneling money to the Clinton campaign in 1996. It's funny how that's not discussed, except on the pages of National Review, where I believe John Fund had a write-up that I read last week. It was pretty decent rundown of all that scandal that I know you brought up a couple weeks ago.
He was probably listening to the show and it triggered something in his memory. I'm sure that's what it was.
Of course. But you're talking about the DNC. I've got it up now. He begins this, not all foreign influence scandals are created equally is the title of this piece. And he says, this summer we marked the 20th anniversary of a major investigation by Congress of attempts by a hostile foreign power to influence an American presidential election. And he's referencing the Chinese interference in the 1996 re-election campaign. So the Democrat Party, I believe, I'm going to dig through this. They were funneling money through all kinds of people, Chinese money, like actual Chinese government, connections to this money. And the DNC had to give back $2.8 million in, quote, illegal or improper donations from foreign nationals.
And that's just the money that they fessed up to.
Yeah, and these are Chinese oligarchs, I guess you would call them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they fessed up to. But a bunch of people had to testify. I think he says the sprawling fundraising scandal ultimately led to 22 guilty pleas on various violations of election laws. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, a total of 120 participants in the fundraising scandal either fled the country, asserted their Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination, or otherwise avoided questioning. Isn't this fun? So it doesn't matter.
Now, I can't remember, but you tell me, did this come up every day in the White House briefing for the first 6 months of his second term?
No, don't be ridiculous.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, they moved along. Yeah, he said much of the media basically gave the Clintons a pass on the evidence that special interest donors to the, he's talking about the most recent election, Clinton Foundation, frequently managed to score favors from the State Department. So it's just a redo of what happened in the 90s. They're kind of like, nah, there's nothing really to see here.
And the Clintons were very good at that. Something would come out, and if the Clintons were running this show, if you were hearing Russian collusion, the Clintons and the Russians were colluding. Right now, every day, whoever was running the White House morning briefings would be like, oh, this is old news. We've already talked about this. And then they would move on. They would spin away from it. The Clintons were very good at that. Why are we continuing to talk about it? It's old news.
The American people don't care about that. They care about insert other issue here.
You can focus on that. We're focusing on getting the American people jobs and affordable health care. Yada, yada, yada.
No, they were masterful at that. But it's a little easier when the media's on the same political team as you.
Right.
So it doesn't work. And that was kind of, Scaramucci was on this morning with Jake Tapper for a good long stretch of time there, talking about that kind of stuff, how all of the accomplishments that they would like to be touting have been overshadowed by the nonsense the press wants to keep focusing on. So maybe we'll see a change coming out of them. I don't know how you overcome the media, though.
You do what Trump has been doing. You go around the media and you tweet.
Yeah.
They're going to report his tweets.
It's true.
So that's what you do. He just has to be more disciplined about the tweets.
Oh.
Well, I think that, okay, attacking the news media, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If he can get his message out through Twitter without maybe losing some of the personal attacks. I mean, they're highly entertaining, don't get me wrong, and I think he does them to draw more people to his Twitter account. But where did he bring up Micah's bloody face? Was that on Twitter? I forgot.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe you lose some of that, or am I wrong, Tracy? Are you highly entertained by?
I'm highly entertained.
Micah's bloody face tweets.
Oh, it's great. I hope this serves to show everybody that we don't need presidents. We don't need any of these people controlling any aspect of our lives. So please keep it up.
It's as if, and I know this is a dated pop culture reference, but it's as if Kramer is now president of the United States from Seinfeld.
Kramer wasn't that cruel.
No, but no filter.
Yes. Well, it's more like Larry David, but I know you didn't watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, so.
Larry David, you think, would have, in Curb Your Enthusiasm, make a Micah's face is bleeding joke?
In a different way, but yes, potentially.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, so this Sargucci, what's his name? Scaramucci is now running comms out of the White House.
Uh-huh.
And Sarah Jessica Parker Huckabee, what's her name?
Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Oh, okay. She's going to be doing most of the White House daily briefings at this point.
Yes, but they also want to rotate through other members of the the advisory staff and things like this, which they've done with press conferences that I know you don't watch, so you're not familiar with that.
Right.
I didn't think.
I mean, what's the point anymore? It's like I describe when I walk by a television at 10 o'clock every night and it's Don Lemon talking about Russia and Trump. I mean, what's the point of even watching the daily briefings if they're even on TV? Okay, we're going to more Russia, Trump, more Russia, Trump, more Russia, Trump. If something really happened, I'd like to know about it, but how long can we go without hearing anything and still talk about it? It's been a year.
Well, there's new stuff all the time.
Is there? I know there are new stories, but then you find out after the fact that they aren't true.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's a new leak that you may or may not have seen. And I have to pull this up with Jeff Sessions and the Russian ambassador, I believe. And so according to The Hill, and this is them reporting that Trump is slamming this illegal leak, because this is coming from, as best we can tell, intelligence agencies. So the Russian ambassador, Sergei Kislyak, whatever, recounted 2 conversations with Sessions to his superiors in Moscow, in which his version of events is that they did discuss like removing sanctions or other things. And so Democrats, of course, are like, oh, there it is. This is them colluding. And because Sessions had said he'd never discussed any of this stuff with the ambassador. So the way that this information was obtained is the taps on the ambassador's phone. So he's calling back to Russia. Our intelligence agencies are listening, and then they're leaking this out.
This was after the election?
No, this is during the campaign.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not good.
No.
That's not cool, but, I mean, is that much different than Barack Obama saying I'll have much more latitude after the election to do things?
Flexibility, I believe.
Flexibility?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know. And because we haven't seen the transcripts of this, then who's to say what it was exactly that they said.
Right.
So a lot of it's about the sanctions that were placed on the Russians, right?
Mm-hmm.
After Ukraine, and getting those removed. So to me, it's like, okay, maybe the Russian ambassador said, or what are you guys thinking about doing about those sanctions? And Sessions either says, I don't know, or I'm not in a position to talk about that, or he tells them what they're thinking about doing. But how is that illegal?
I don't know how it is. I mean, and again,
And we're speculating because we've not seen the transcripts. All they say is that they communicated.
See, and this is what happens when you get a special prosecutor involved. Is they keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging, and it may have nothing to do with what the original accusation is.
Right.
They're looking to find something. And
they're trying to trip up Sessions. Because he said he never discussed campaign issues with the Russians.
And now all of a sudden we're supposed to take the Russians' word for it? I thought that...
Well, it's not their word for it. It's the intelligence agencies that are listening to the Russians talking.
Okay.
Yes. So, and it could be something as innocuous as what I just explained.
Right.
So I say, hey, fingers, listen. When you guys take office, what do we do about these sanctions? Huh? And of course he's going to be asking about those things. And then it doesn't say whether or not Sessions indulged him or anything like that. And this is not to say that that's even what he asked. But the point being is there are a lot of innocuous things that could be run through this filter of, oh, my God, collusion, and made into something that they're not. So they weren't like, hey, we bring seizure gun to 9/11 ceremony and we hit Hillary right when Scuba Van pull up. Yes.
Maybe this is where we need to find out if Maxine Waters' theory is correct.
Oh, yeah.
With the messaging, maybe in exchange for the promise of lifting the sanctions against Russia, Russia came back with, hey, you should start getting the crowds to chant, lock her up.
There you go. I think you might be onto something.
No, Maxine Waters is a fucking genius.
She is. And speaking of, there's rumors now swirling that she's going to be running for president.
Oh, my God. Please make that happen.
I know. You and I would be right there at the front of the line at all of her rallies. Go anti-Maxine. And she's definitely, perfect age for it. She'll be 79 on August 15th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Great. She looks wonderful. She's doing a bang-up job in Congress for over 30 years.
They got a deep bench over there, Tracy. We're even discussing this.
But you and I have been talking about her for months because she's kind of risen to the top of the I Hate Trump brigade.
Right.
Over there. She's leading the whole parade.
She was leading the impeachment parade in January.
I think it might have been before that. But so she's going to some event in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
And so that started the speculators speculating. And so she was on a wonderful program on MSNBC, hosted by Joy Reid, I believe. I think that's where she was. Yeah, All In. She was, I guess, filling in for Chris Hayes. Joy Reid.
Oh, okay. So it's usually All In by Chris Hayes.
Right. No, Joy Reid has a morning show on the weekends called Morning Joy or something like that.
Oh, good God.
Something Joy. It's awful, but I watch it because it's a train wreck. So anyway, she had Maxine Waters on and they talked about her potentially running for president. Because I guess Tucker Carlson had made fun of that idea the night before on his show. So she wanted to get her reaction. And I believe you have a clip of her reacting to Tucker. It's actually, so she's on with Joy Reid. Simultaneously, Tucker's show is live too. Tucker's producers pull the clip and get him to respond to it live. So what we have is a clip of him setting up the clip of Maxine Waters, and then him coming back and finishing her off after her little AM Joy rant. That's what it's called, AM Joy, her normal show. But this is from All In with Joy Reid.
It's almost unbearable. But we watch it anyway, Joe. We do watch other channels, even as this show is going on. And just about 4 minutes ago, Maxine Waters of Los Angeles, one of the richest people in L.A., also a congresswoman from there, said that she was going to attempt to begin impeachment proceedings against the president. Here's also what she said. Watch this.
Ask you on your way out. Tucker Carlson did a send-up to you last night, claiming in a conversation with Larry Elder that you are running for president in 2020. Is there any truth to that?
No, just because I'm going to New Hampshire to be at a Democratic Party event for one of my colleagues. They made the story up. They're trying every way they can to discredit me or to make people uncomfortable with me, all of that. So you're going to be hearing a lot more from these people who are all, aligned around trying to discredit Maxine Waters because she has stayed on Trump's case so much. And so you're going to hear a lot more from them. Well, don't believe anything they're saying.
And I'm glad we're going to also hear a
I had to play that. I just couldn't control myself. Because, of course, Maxine Waters is self-discrediting. But why does Maxine Waters get to go on cable channels and no one ever mentions her ethical problems, the fact she lives in a $4.5 million house after working for the government for 40 years, et cetera? I mean, they're super hyper skeptical of everything Trump says, and then not skeptical at all of anything Maxine Waters says. Why is that?
Well, it's the Dan Rather thing, right, Tucker? I mean, you played Dan Rather in a clip before, and he is on television often, and he is always talking about the moral virtues of journalism, and people forget that he was fired from CBS in 2004 because he presented fake documents in a 60 Minutes story. It's like having Bernie Madoff on to get him out of prison and have him give financial advice. Forget about that whole pyramid scheme thing. Bernie, tell us what you think about what we should do with our money. That's like the Dan Rather effect. Like, forget everything that happened. We want to hear your opinion because
it's like having Ed Gein on to do a vegetarian segment.
Oh, my God. And it's Ed Gein. I don't know if you know who he is.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, he's one of the most famous serial killers.
Oh.
The guy, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based off of him. And a couple other movies, actually. Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. But, I love her. They're trying to just discredit her by saying she's going to run for president. How does that discredit you at all?
I would be flattered.
Yes.
People are talking about me as a potential candidate for one of the two major parties for president of the United States.
But this is not coming out of the right. That started on the left. There were pieces, and I believe it was in Salon. They ran a video, like 5 reasons why Maxine Waters should run for president or why we would vote for her in 2020. They started this nonsense.
Well, I saw a headline the other day, and I didn't click on it because I don't hate myself. And it was the headline had a quote in it from her. It said something like, if millennials want me to run, I will run for president.
Yeah, no. She actually had said that in this interview with Joy Reid. The longer version that they didn't play on Tucker, they clipped that out. But she goes through all this. Oh, they're trying to discredit me, and then says, but if millennials want me to run, I'll run.
Well, what the hell?
I just thought immediately, like, oh, she needs a beach house. I mean, she lives in Los Angeles, but not on the beach. I mean, she could move up to Malibu.
Well, in her defense, I will say this. A $4.5 million home in L.A., what is that, 1,500 square feet?
Probably. Yeah, it's the size of a postage stamp.
Yeah, but Tucker raises a good point. How can someone making that salary? What does a congressman make? $164,000 a year?
Something around there. Yeah, less than 2. But remember, her husband was on the board of that bank that was about to get shut down. They were going bankrupt, and then they got a nice, sweet bailout deal. So he's been in the private sector making lots of money, somehow.
How does that work? It just seems like lately we're seeing stories about congressmen spouses or senator spouses who are in charge of running something, and they run that entity into the ground. Mm-hmm. And nobody asks any questions.
No. It's all too much to keep track of.
Right.
And I think people just expect it, which is gross. So it's not surprising or shocking to anybody. So nothing's done about it. But I'm going to jump on board. Michelle Malkin, The Blaze, has a piece. She's launching conservatives for Maxine Waters for president. So this was apparently an ad that she did for Conservative Review TV.
Greetings, my fellow Americans. I would like to make an official announcement. Today, I am assuming the role of chairman of a new political committee, Conservatives for Maxine Waters for president. The entrenched 13-term Democratic Congresswoman from California is reportedly headed to New Hampshire next week to dip her toe in the White House 2020 waters. Progressives are lit up at the possibility that anti-Maxine will make a run. As I have said before about the left's rock star elevation of Maxine Waters in the age of Trump, I do not have enough guffaws to give at the efforts of liberals to turn this Beltway barnacle into the fresh face of the Democratic Party. Change agent. Waters has served on the Democratic National Committee since 1980, back when the Atari 2600 was cutting edge. Kim Kardashian was a newborn, and Al Franken was hamming it up in a diaper on Saturday Night Live. Waters has spent 37 years in public office. Many of those years as head of the Congressional Black Caucus, promising to make life better for constituents in her economically ravaged South Central Los Angeles district. So what do the denizens of her district have to show for it? Staggering levels of persistent unemployment, poverty, and gang violence 25 years after the LA riots. As chairman of Conservatives for Maxine Waters for president, I pledge to do my best to spotlight Mad Max's long record of coddling gang members and using her office to enrich herself and her family. Like when she secured an ambassadorship to the Bahamas for her husband, a former pro football player and car salesman whose main qualification was having traveled to the island for a vacation. Or when she funneled nearly $650,000 in payments from her slate mailer operation for her federal campaign committee to her daughter, Karen. She's been doing that since 2006. Or when she pressured the House Veterans Committee into hiring 2 black staffers. Or when she walked away with a slap on the wrist from the toothless House Ethics Committee in 2012 after being charged with multiple ethical violations related to her meddling in minority-owned One United Bank. There you have it in a nutshell. Beltway liberalism in living color. Corruption, cronyism, and cashing in for friends and family while your constituents and taxpayers get screwed. 3 cheers for making Maxine the defining face of the Democratic Party.
Oh, she's an American treasure.
Mm-hmm. It was brilliant. I think we should announce that we're starting Libertarians for Maxine Waters for president.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
Let's get everybody on board and highlight this corrupt, disgusting woman. And the only thing Michelle left out of that was the nepotism front was the fact that her grandson, this is Maxine's grandson, was her chief of staff. And he's supposedly the one that negotiated the funneling of money or helped to get the bailout that was sent along to the bank where Maxine's husband was on the board. But shockingly, he didn't know that that was Granddaddy's bank. And Maxine had no idea that any of this was going on.
I want to be the U.S. ambassador to Canada. I've been there before.
You would
beer. Apparently, that's all you need. Yeah, I've been there once.
You've never been to any place nicer or warmer, I should say?
I've been to Mexico, but who wants to be the ambassador to Mexico?
I don't know. I mean, your salary would go a lot further in Mexico.
That's true.
I think if I had to pick, I'd probably go Mexico.
Ugh.
I know. I hear Mexico City's lovely, though, and that's probably where you'd be.
Yeah, no thank you. I've been to Cancun once.
Well, there you go. I don't think there's an ambassador to Cancun.
There's not?
No, Senor Frogs. That's where your office is.
It would be. No, I did see, and I don't really want to get into it because I don't have the piece in front of me, but apparently there are some Americans that are accusing a Mexican resort of spiking their liquor.
With
drugging
liquor?
them. Drugging them or something. I don't know. I don't know if there was some sort of sexual misconduct going on.
Missing organs?
Yeah, or anything like that. Yeah, if anybody woke up in a bathtub full of ice, missing a kidney, I just wasn't interested because I don't plan on going to Mexico anytime soon. I'm not going to be the Mexican ambassador. So
sorry to hear that.
But apparently, I'm qualified to also be the U.S. ambassador to Mexico because I've been to Cancun. I've drank at Senor Frog's. Maxine Waters world. Oh, man.
Well, see, my take on it, too, I appreciate the corruption angle, but I think the Libertarians for Maxine Waters for president should push the fact that she's a monumental moron. And just drive that home. Say, these are the people that are making choices about how your life is controlled.
I'm just baffled how you can go from, I'm not running for president, I'm not even entertaining it, never even talked about it. But if millennials want me to run, I'll run.
I would say, can you spell millennial? I'm serious.
M-I smiley face.
They like those emojis, right?
Yeah.
That's a thing that millennials are into?
Yeah.
No.
Well, speaking of California politics, Tracy, yes. Caitlyn Jenner is in the news.
I love it.
Apparently, she's toying with the idea of running for the United States Senate.
Yep. Against, Dianne Feinstein, who was 84.
Another fresh face in the Democratic Party.
She actually looks better than most of them, though, honestly. She hasn't decided whether or not she's going to run again.
Is she really 84?
Yes.
Holy Christ.
It says so. So there's we've pieced this story together from two different places. One's from TMZ, one's from the Los Angeles Times. So they said Feinstein, 84, has not yet decided if she's going to run again in 2018.
Well, is Jerry Brown being term limited out in California? They could run that fossil for the United States Senate.
Well, they're holding out for him for 2022.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, come on, Fingers. He's brilliant. That high-speed train is humming right now.
Oh, I have a bunch of friends in California who are shitting bricks over the Republicans' latest cave in California.
Oh, God.
Over the budget, cap and trade in California, and I don't have the piece in front of me either, but because I don't want to dig too deep into California politics because, who needs that?
Show.
But
right.
Anytime Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Kardashian, takes a political stance, it's always entertaining, and now we're hearing that she may run for the United States Senate. Is she going to run as a Republican?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
she's according to the Los Angeles Times, a lifelong Republican.
Wow. Well, we have audio from her on a show. Her?
Mm-hmm.
Has she made the
I
transition?
believe so. I believe so.
She's tallywhackerless at this point?
Yes, it's true.
Okay. This is Caitlyn Jenner on 970 The Answer.
Yes.
In, I'm guessing, California.
New York.
Oh, New York. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Caitlyn, there's a rumor.
Uh-oh.
There's a rumor that you want to run for the United States Senate in California.
Did you hear that rumor, John?
I heard
it. How did it get all the way back to you?
Okay, first, before I continue, apparently she's just given up on trying to sound like a woman.
Yeah. Well, I believe she had her vocal cords shaved down, and this is the best they could do. There's some weird shit that they do to your throat to try to make your voice a little bit more high-pitched or something.
At her age, you got to be careful. You end up like Joan Rivers doing that shit.
Aw.
Poor Joan. Okay, so let's go back to the audio.
California.
Did you hear that rumor, John?
I heard it.
No way. How did it get all the way back
Did
to you?
you hear that?
All the way from California to New York.
All the way from California.
She actually sounds like Phyllis Diller a little bit. And Carol Channing combined.
Oh, lamb chop.
No, that's Sherry Lewis.
Oh, Sherry Lewis. Oh, I hope she doesn't. Hope she's not in charge of driving the campaign bus.
Buckle up, buckaroos.
How How did it get all the way back to you?
All the way from California to New
All
York.
the way from California. I have considered it. I like the political side of it. If there's one thing...
Wait. I have considered it. I like the political side of it.
Yes, the political side of politics.
I gotta play that again.
I have considered it. I like the political side of it.
Sorry, I don't know why I find that so funny. She likes the political side of politics. Okay. Sorry. Apologize.
If there's one thing, I work very closely with a group called the American Unity Fund, that their sole purpose, their mission statement is to get the Republican Party to do a better job when it comes to all LGBT issues. That's kind of my issue. Obviously, I'm more...
Okay. If that's going to be your entire focus of your campaign, good luck to you.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to be the entire focus.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
You looking at who we're talking to or talking about?
I know. I think that'll be part of it for sure. But honestly, I was shocked. And I think we talked about this before when Katy Perry live streamed her life for 3 days earlier in the summer. The one segment that I watched was, I didn't watch the entire segment, but parts of it, a dinner party that Katy Perry hosted to talk about current events and politics and such. And our friend Caitlyn Jenner was the only Republican at the table. Table which also included CNN Brain Trust, Sally Cohn.
Yeah.
The wonderful Anna Navarro, also of CNN, the Bushy who hates Trump, and Van Jones. And a couple other folks were thrown in there who I didn't really know. And Caitlyn Jenner did a damn good job actually defending Republican principles, better than, say, Lindsey Graham or John McCain, and up against some pretty nasty pushback. So I was surprised. It's not, I know that she sounds really stupid, being like, I like the political side of politics. And I think that's probably too high pitched.
Yes.
But I'm going to have to work on this.
Yeah.
So anyway.
We'll get you some vocal shaving.
No, I mean, it would be
adding. I don't know.
To me, this is all worth it. And California's primary system is weird. It's the top two move on, the top two vote getters. So getting through that process might be difficult for gender. But if she could get through that and then see a debate between her and Feinstein, if Feinstein decides to run again, I don't know, Fingers. 2018 is going to be so much fun.
I'm really torn because part of me would like to see Maxine Waters run for the United States Senate and then see Caitlyn Jenner versus Maxine Waters in a debate. That would be priceless.
Nah, I don't think Waters wants to move up. The Senate's a lot more responsibilities and things, I would think.
On the T portion of the LGBT, and I want people to understand that. But the political side of it has always been very intriguing to me. Over the next 6 months or so, I got to find out where I can do a better job. Can I do a better job from the outside, kind of working the perimeter of the political scene, being open to, talk to anybody? Or are you better off from the inside? And we are in the process of determining that.
Who's we, by the way?
The team. Ryan Seacrest and Kris Kardashian.
By the way, that clip is from TMZ. Wow.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, this is the Trump effect. I can't wait to see what other freak shows are going to join.
Well, I'm looking forward to Snooki running for the United States Senate in New Jersey.
And she's not old enough. Oh, she might be now.
Say, how old is she now?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
You have to be 30, right?
Yes. Woo, she's 29.
Oh, see, there you go.
But she'd be eligible. Yep.
Okay, this is what we do for Scam Pack. Draft Snooki for the United States Senate.
Okay, she'll have to run against. I'm trying to think. Is Booker up? Let me see.
Well, Cory Booker is one of those, sexy picks for 2020 on the Democratic side for president. At least he's a fresh face.
Mm-hmm.
He's not 95 like Maxine Waters.
Right. But he probably can't spell millennial either. Oh, no, it would be Menendez.
Okay.
Who's embroiled in scandal.
Okay, this is what
out
we
on
need.
His ass.
This is what we need to do for Scam Pack.
Okay.
We need to pick different reality TV stars in different states. It doesn't have to be reality TV. It can be other faux celebrities. And we need to draft them to run for some sort of political office. We got Snooki in Jersey. Mm-hmm. Or the Long Island... we could do Snooki in Jersey, the Long Island Medium in New York.
Okay.
Chumley in Nevada. We could run a pretty powerful list and have people sign up for our updates, get their emails, and then sell the email list, and we'll be rich, Tracy.
I think you might be onto something here. I'm already on board for Scam Pack, so... Yeah,
we got to get that website before somebody steals that idea. Scam Pack, Chumley for the United States Senate.
I've pulled up the Senate races in 2018, and sorry, fingers, but... Oh, no, they do have it. Nevada does have an election.
Oh, see, here we go.
But it's the Republican that's up.
Oh.
It's Dean Heller. They probably have... Don't they have two Republicans? No. Who took Harry Reid's seat?
Oh, gosh, I don't even remember. But who cares? What do we care? Right. We're Scam Pack.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we're not really actually taking anybody down. Florida's got a race. Oh, you know who lives in Florida? Hulk Hogan.
Oh, there we go. Florida man, Hulk Hogan running for the United States Senate. I'm telling you, we got something cooking here. Scam Pack for the people who like the political side of politics.
I like that. Oh, this is amazing. I would like to see Hulk.
Yeah. I can see the campaign ads now.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of who lives in the great state that I live in, Pennsylvania, that could be a contender. I think Charles Barkley lives here still. Actually.
Oh, there you go. Charles Barkley. Draft Charles Barkley for the United States Senate. I can't think of anybody else in Pennsylvania.
I'm pretty sure he still lives here. I almost hit him one morning. Did I ever tell you that story? Like in the car.
Oh, no. You didn't tell me that story.
Oh, yeah. I was driving to work, going downtown. This is when I was doing television production work. And the main highway into the city from the side that I live on is the Schuylkill Expressway, and it was a nightmare. So I jumped off and took a side road that runs down the Schuylkill on the other side and had to cut through a little town called Manayunk. And this is about 6:15, 6:30 in the morning. And I'm driving along in the downtown. It's only like 25 miles an hour that you can go through. And all of a sudden, there's this giant hulking across the street right in front of my little Mini Cooper. And I'm like, oh, shit. Who is that? And then it dawned on me. I'm like, that's Charles Barkley that I almost just clipped. That would have been fun. Oops.
Oh, you know who's from Pennsylvania?
Who?
Bob Saget.
Oh, man. Well, you'd have to be a resident here, though.
Oh, look. Could move back.
Yeah. He'd have to do it now. I think you have to be have residency for a year. That would be wonderful.
I mean, the Democrats' Wonder Boy in Georgia didn't even live in the district.
Sure. But he lived in the
Georgia
state.
6?
Well, Maxine Waters doesn't live in her district either.
Right.
There aren't any $4 million homes in her district.
So what does she do? Does she pretend? Does she have like a studio apartment?
I'm not sure how it works. Some
South
states
Central?
don't require you to live in the district that you represent. It's crazy, but it's true. It's kind of like, oh, what's the point of representative democracy?
Right.
Oh, well. We'll work on this slate of candidates and have more of them filled in by next week.
We have to get Scam Pack up and running.
I know.
Well, I think that's about it, don't you, Tracy?
Well, speaking of Scam Pack and people that get run, the other news this week was that OJ's getting paroled.
Oh, can you believe that?
Yes.
And look, by the letter of the law, he probably shouldn't even served as much time as he did for this. It was just a makeup call for the double murder.
Right.
But the things that were coming out of his mouth at that parole hearing.
Oh,
I don't have it in front of me, but I'm paraphrasing. I'm not a confrontational person. I've never been accused of I've never pulled a gun out on anybody or
a knife.
I mean, the fix was in from the very beginning at that parole hearing. They're all yucking it up, joking around. I didn't see the whole thing. I only saw bits and pieces. One person on the parole board was wearing a Kansas City Chiefs tie.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Apparently, he's eligible to be released on October 1st.
Yes.
I'm betting he violates his parole by Labor Day.
Potentially. Well, Labor Day is before.
I know.
1st.
Before he even gets released, he's going to do something stupid.
Okay.
And violate his parole somehow.
So you're saying that the man that was convicted of an armed robbery says he's never been confrontational or pulled a gun on any. Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I mean, to me, well, they're trying to figure out where he's going to live. So if he goes to Florida, I don't know who I'd rather have, him or Hulk, as part of the Scam Pack. I guess we could probably raise more money on Hulk. Because I don't think people would want to give us money to help OJ become a senator. But
I wonder, is there a law? Obviously, if you're a convicted felon, you can't vote. But if you're a convicted felon, can you run for office? I don't know that there's anything in the Constitution that forbids that. Oh, I don't know now.
Yeah.
OJ for senator. I'll go in for senate. We're gonna have to get our executive committee together.
Yes.
To vet these candidates properly before we throw them out there for Scam Pack.
Yeah, we got to have these conversations off air and stop brainstorming before people steal all of our best ideas.
Right?
Yes. But to me, the question, and this is raised in an NBC News piece about OJ. He lost that civil suit. The Goldman sued for wrongful death.
Right.
And so OJ was ordered to pay them $33.5 million. Wow. And they've received, according to the family, 1% of that.
Ugh.
And the biggest asset that they got was the rights to his book called If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer.
Awful.
And so they got the book and the rights, and so they get all the money for it. But they're never allowed to touch his NFL pension. Right. Which they estimate is $25,000 a month. So they're acting like, oh, how is he going to live financially? Well, he's got $25,000 a month. And he was also a member of the Screen Actors Guild, so he gets a pension from them, too.
And moving forward, I don't know how much money he has to give the Goldman and Brown family moving forward. But you know damn well, at some point, there's going to be some sort of reality TV show.
Oh, I would think so. But he still has to pay them the rest of the money. I mean, in theory.
But is it worth it to him? This is what I find comical about him, and it just shows how arrogant he is and completely out of touch. He holds resentment. He resents the Goldman family and Brown family for coming after him.
Mm-hmm. He's that indignant.
He was just allowed to he should have been allowed to walk away. He's OJ.
Yeah.
He had the right to kill them. And, God, there were some brutal photos circulating Facebook today. Or the other day when this whole thing went down. Photos I had never seen before of the crime scene and of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman that were just, he damn near decapitated Nicole Brown Simpson. And he's just going to go down to Florida and he's going to golf.
Yep.
And people are going to want to play golf with OJ.
Sure.
Unbelievable. What a world. Nothing matters anymore, Tracy.
Nope. This is why Snooki for Senate 2018.
Right.
We'll get back to you with the rest of our picks. Yeah. Caitlyn Jenner and Kid Rock. And that was the last piece that I wanted to talk about. So we discussed that Kid Rock, had announced that thing on Twitter. We don't know if it's real or not, but our good friends over at Politico have a story warning that, hey, we better take this seriously.
You think?
And I agree with them. Yes. Because they said, given his image, it's very Trump-esque in the fact that we don't expect him to be, this upstanding citizen.
Right.
So there's nothing that's going to be shocking about his past that comes out that could destroy him. And as you said, he's been really good to the people of Michigan. And in this Politico piece, they said he's given 7-figure amounts to charity and headlined a bunch of philanthropic events. And who knows, maybe he's as into the politics side as Caitlyn Jenner is. Because they say in this Politico piece, Mitt Romney asked for Kid Rock's endorsement. Can you imagine that conversation? Excuse me, Mr. Kid. Rock? What do I call you? Could I get your endorsement? So they said he invited Romney over to his house and peppered him with a list of policy questions and then slept on the decision before informing him the next day that he would support him. Did you know that then they formed an unexpected bond?
Oh.
And Romney adopted the patriotic rock anthem Born Free as his official campaign song.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yep. And I love this. Richie, which is his real last name,
right,
praised the former Massachusetts governor as, quote, the most decent motherfucker I've ever met in my life.
I'm telling you.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I know my Michigan.
Yeah.
He could win.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was sitting in Freedom Works headquarters July of last year telling people that Trump could win and he could win Michigan. And I was told I'm an idiot. Mm-hmm. You're crazy. Okay. I'm crazy.
Yep. Who looks crazy now?
Yeah. Well, the system looks crazy.
Yeah. That's the whole point. That's the point of our scam pack.
Right.
See, I think for Scam Pack, we actually have to pick people that we wouldn't mind if they won because crazier things.
Oh, I don't care if Snooki is a senator. What do I care anymore?
That's true.
Just look what's going on with this healthcare debate.
It's dead. Wait, we're going to go with a new bill. Wait, that's dead already, too. We can't do any of this.
All these people who are, quote unquote, Washington insiders, once again, making fun of people in the heartland who are upset that there isn't going to be a repeal. They aren't going to get what they were promised. I saw one person who is a consultant in D.C. say, if you don't understand Snow and Murkowski's position on this and where they are when it comes to health care, then you don't understand politics. No, I understand politics completely. I understand that Democrats go along with what leadership says. There is no peeling away. Evan Bayh, who was very popular in Indiana, voted for Obamacare because he did what he was told. Mm-hmm. And then he was out of a job.
Yeah. And he couldn't even mount a comeback.
He tried. I'm retiring after the vote. Because he knew there was a good possibility he was going to lose.
Yes.
And then he came back, hoping people would forget that he voted for Obamacare. And he lost.
And you're talking about senators, when you're talking about Snow and Murkowski, who both come from deep red states that Trump won. You're going to tell me that their constituents don't want them to vote for a repeal? It's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
And I honestly think, and I can say this and you can't, it's because they're women.
Really?
This is what this is all about. Yes, we have to be compassionate. if one single child. Give me a break, ladies. It's just beyond ridiculous. I can't remember which one of them I heard. I think it was Snow was talking. Well, we can't possibly just do the repeal if we don't have a replacement. Because they were saying that the latest plan was just to do the straight up repeal that they've already passed. Just vote on the same bill that got passed under Obama. And then they would have 2 years to figure out something to do, to put in a replacement. And that wasn't good enough for Miss Snow.
Well, you're just being unreasonable, Tracy. You don't understand her, you know, the delicate position she's in Maine there.
Oh, I don't know why they keep sending her. How people that elected Paul LePage as their governor could send Olympia Snow to Washington is beyond me. So
well,
I would like to see him take her seat.
Well, again, why does John McCain keep getting reelected?
No.
Or Lindsey Graham?
I don't know. It's crazy. But hopefully we're on the brink of a major sea change because the ship is going down.
Who do we have in South Carolina that we could run for Scam Pack?
I don't know. We're gonna have to think about this hard. They don't have a Senate seat up.
Oh, damn.
In 2018. Sorry.
Damn. Okay. I'm going to go buy a Scam Pack website before we post this. Okay. And then if you want to suggest candidates for us to support, for Scam Pack to support in 2018, tweet me at Fingers Malloy, tweet Tracy at Tracy L. Connors. But we have to run, Tracy. I have to go.
Okay.
So where can everyone find the Enough Already podcast?
You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, on Facebook at Facebook.com/Enough Already Podcast. And if you forget all of that, you can find us at EnoughAlready.us.
That's it for this week. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with an all-new Enough Already.
Enough Already Radio is on Facebook. Check out the fan page, Facebook.com/Enough Already Podcast.